All right. Good morning, everybody. You can see we are on the road. We're doing it a little bit differently today. This is going to be a short radio presentation live from New York. It's not Saturday night, it's Monday morning, and I am here in Brooklyn headed to TikTok in just a little bit. I've got plenty to talk to you about today. We'll be live from TikTok headquarters. We'll be live from TikTok headquarters. So the show is on the road. Welcome to New York, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see you. We'll take your calls this morning. A truncated presentation today, but a show nonetheless. And boy, do I have a story to tell you this morning. So stick around. Make sure to write down that phone number and give us a call. There is a lot to discuss in just a short period of time. I have also released a podcast this morning that was recorded over the weekend. Let's get to it. I am fully mobile here. So this is a little different for me, but we're going to get it done. I am not entirely in my comfort zone right now, but it looks like we're live on YouTube, and now I'm kind of just switching over here to the phone line. So if you want to give me a call, 253-263-1540, 253-263-1540. Good morning, everyone. So I am headed to TikTok headquarters. We are going to be there all day. Inevitably, we will be live from TikTok headquarters. Now, on the last radio presentation, on the last live radio show last Wednesday, we talked about the future of TikTok. And then there was an update to all things pertaining to the ban. I shouldn't say all things, but there was an update in the appellate court. So we'll get a little more clarity today. Obviously, TikTok has put out their statements. I received an email from them. It is very much in line with what they are saying publicly. So we'll see what transpires today over at TikTok headquarters. Now, the other thing that happened just as we were wrapping up the show last Wednesday is the cold-blooded murder of the United Healthcare CEO. And oddly enough, here we are, headed to the center of Manhattan, to Midtown Manhattan this morning. And, a little weird, but that happened, and we haven't been live on the radio since then. Kenzie and I talked about it over the weekend. And Kenzie had some interesting thoughts on that. If you haven't listened to the podcast over the weekend, go check that out. Now, we're going to hang here. I'll take your calls. We'll talk for a little bit. Thank you for your support over there on TikTok. We'll talk for a little bit, but it's going to be a short show this morning. So make sure you go listen to my interview with Joshua L. Harris. He is a Disney historian. We spent about 2 hours talking. I think we did it Saturday night or Friday night, talking about past and present Disney parks. So we unpacked the Muppets and Rivers of America. We talked about the CEO succession plan. We talked about the foibles of Bob Iger. We touched on Michael Eisner's legacy. So that podcast is out right now. Same place you listen to everything. Under the Influence. And of course, we'll hang out here. Now, I left Orlando yesterday morning. And it was my first time on my own going and exploring these Delta lounges. So I'm all excited because Nick, who I've known since the third grade, it's like, he took me when we went to Japan, him, myself, Yoey, we all went to the lounges. But he's like, you gotta do it. You gotta get the card. You gotta do it. Okay, fine. I'll do it. So I go to the airport early. Good morning, Megan. Good morning, Machi. I go to the airport early to work on that podcast, to do a little editing, a little quality checking. And I'm enjoying the accommodations at the Delta Lounge in Orlando Airport. It was fine. It was fine. I made a video joking about it because it was a little lackluster compared to what I've seen, But I'm so excited, right? I'm going to JFK Airport. I got hours to kill. I got work to do. All right. So I get off the plane. All right. I get a free upgrade on the plane, which is fantastic. I'm like, I'm loving this. So I get a free upgrade on the plane. I'm sitting in Delta Comfort Plus. And I'm like, this is fantastic. This Delta credit card is already working wonders for me. I'm in the lounge, I'm getting upgraded, I'm living the life. So I get off the airplane and I head to the lounge at JFK Airport. And as I enter the lounge, there's a sign. I put it on my stories. And there's some Paramount Plus promotion. And there's a lady standing there. She goes, "Oh, come on in. Kelsey Grammer's going to be here in 30 minutes. Oh, okay. Random. All right. So I go up there and I set up my computer and I start doing some editing. And lady comes up to the table. She goes, "Kelsey Grammer's on his way over here. Do you want to say hi to Kelsey Grammer?" And I was like, I mean, sure. You know, So I'm doing my stuff, and I got my computer set up, and I have my luggage and my backpack. And I'm like, I'm not leaving all this stuff just to go say hi to Kelsey Grammer. And there's some guys that are sitting at the table next to me. I'm like, keep an eye on my laptop for a second. And I go into the little area because it's a little alcove in the Delta Lounge, and there's a line. And I'm like, I'm not. I stood there for 30 seconds. I got out of the line. I'll come back later. And the lady's like, oh, okay. So I get everything done that I'm doing, and I decide to relocate over into that area because they're encouraging people to come in there because they're promoting Paramount Plus, they're promoting Frasier. So they're like, come in here. We've got Kelsey Grammer. Come say hi, whatever. Get an autograph. So finally, I relocate my stuff in there, and the lady's like, oh, it's so nice to see you back. And I'm like, okay. I'm sitting there, and I finally get up to go talk to Kelsey Grammer. But the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, nice. This guy seems like a nice gentleman. I've watched him on television. I don't need an autograph. Like, I don't want an autograph. And then I'm thinking to myself, don't be rude. Like, you just take the autograph, you smile, and you deal with it later. And I'm thinking to myself, I just want to, say hi to the guy, say something or whatever, and chat with him. But I don't need an autograph. But I'm like, no, just get the autograph. Everybody else is getting the autograph. Royce, just get the autograph. Why are you going to go up there to this guy and then be rude about saying, no, I don't want the autograph? So I get in line. And I got the phone with the kickstand. And he calls me up. And the woman who was taking photos takes my main cell phone. And she starts taking pictures. And I open up the kickstand on the phone that I typically stream with. And I plop it down on the table to record me and him. And he goes, this guy's making a movie. And everyone's like, wow, look at that kickstand. And I'm like, oh my God. And I just look at him and I go, well, sir, you have to come prepared. And I shake his hand. Now I'm sitting there just chatting with Kelsey Grammer. And I talked to him about, I mentioned a Broadway show that he was meant to do in the late 90s. So I kind of chatting to him about that. And he goes, oh, so what are you doing in New York? I said, I'm here on business just for a few days, and then I'm going back to Orlando. And I just posted this video on TikTok. And of course, I'm thinking, get the autograph, smile, nod, move on. And then he turns and he looks at me and he goes, you don't want one of these. I go, sorry, what? And he goes, you don't want my autograph. And I go, no, I don't. Which I can't believe I said. I go, no, I don't. And then I go, but Nick would love it. And I don't know why. I just texted Nick he was there. Nick was like, Frasier Crane, exclamation mark. He's not like a fan or anything. So if you look at the video I just posted on TikTok, Kelsey Grammer goes from like, you don't want my interview. You don't want my autograph. And I don't know why to this moment. I have no idea why he said that. And then I go, but Nick would love it. He goes, oh, well, that would be my pleasure. And then the woman in the background is like, wow. And I'm like, what is going on? So naturally, I had the video. And again, it's amazing what AI does because I didn't plan. I didn't know he was going to be there. So I don't have good audio on this. I just plop my phone down. And then obviously using AI, I'm able to recover the audio. So it's just kind of amazing the tool set that AI provides. But I get the card signed. And Nick picks me up from the airport. And I hand it to him. And Nick goes, I don't want that Nazi's autograph. I go, Nick, what is wrong with you? How dare you? This gentleman was so nice. He was so nice. He's Fraser Crane. How dare you? Shame on you. Anyway, it's on his fridge. I put it on his fridge. 2 magnets, so he'll have to work twice as hard to take it down. I'm in New York, Victoria. I'm like, Nick, what's wrong with you? What a nice gentleman. He was so nice. He was so nice. And we were chatting, and if you go look at the video, he looks at me and goes, you don't want my autograph. And I'm like, what are you sizing me up? I mean, first of all, I'm like wearing a beanie. I mean, I look like I came off the street, so I don't understand what the indictment is. But he's like, you don't want my autograph. Okay, well, I didn't. And in fact, I convinced myself not to say that. And then somehow you read my mind and then got me to admit that I didn't want your autograph. So needless to say, it was a great experience. It was kind of cool that Delta had that offering. I was able to get my work done in the Sky Lounge. So that podcast is out, my interview with Josh. And what I want to touch on for a moment, if you go listen to that when I break here to head to TikTok, one of the things that Joshua and I talked about, was the notion that with so many different brands under one roof, it becomes an internal struggle to release things. Because now you can say, well, we want to put Star Wars out this weekend, and then somebody internally goes, yeah, but we got Frozen 3. And then somebody else goes, yeah, but we have a Marvel movie, right? And now there becomes an internal competition in terms of prioritizing releases. And we talked last week on the show about NBC Universal spinning off their cable assets. And I was reading the quote-unquote exit interview by a woman of the name Bonnie Hammer. Bonnie Hammer is an icon in Hollywood and ran the cable division of NBC Universal for ages. And she was is a pioneer, but she's retiring. And it was interesting to me to read that, having just done the interview with Josh. And she talks about one of the struggles they had internally with all of the different distribution platforms was internal competition for release dates. So whether it's a movie or a TV program, whatever it is, Sci-Fi wants it, USA wants it, Bravo wants it, the network wants it. And then suddenly things aren't getting done or aren't getting put out there because there's so many options that it almost breeds internal competition. And if you go listen to my interview with Josh, which is really more of a conversation, we talked about that. And we talked about Disney lightening up some of its load and possibly spinning off some of its assets as well, because you do have that conflict. And I just found it very interesting that Bonnie cited that. The entertainment industry goes through these phases of expanding and contracting. And I think what we've gotten to now is things have gotten too consolidated. So now what you have, to her point, is you have so many options under one roof that it's almost impossible to cut through the corporate red tape to make a decision. And then some things maybe never see the light of day or get completely under promoted or under distributed because of that internal conflict. So just kind of interesting to have that conversation with him and then to read her take on that same situation. So go check out, it's up right now, my interview with Josh. It's about a 2-hour interview. We're going to hang here for about an hour this morning, okay, because I have to go to TikTok headquarters. We're going to take your calls, so give me a call, 253-263-1540. I am on the road. We are live from New York, so I look forward to taking your calls because I want to test my mobile system. So give me a shout, 253-263-1540. So that was my adventure. I had no expectation. Thrilled to get the plane upgrade. Very cool to meet Kelsey Grammer. So now we'll see what this meeting with TikTok brings. Like I said, the notion that TikTok is getting banned, look, that's been floating around for a while. I don't think that they're surprised that the appellate court held up the ban. I think that they were expecting that. I don't see them selling the company ever. So I think we're up against the wall here, and I think obviously one of two things happens. Obviously, it gets banned or it doesn't. But to be a little more specific, if they're of the mindset that if they take it to the Supreme Court's going to back up the constitutional rights of United States citizens. I'm of the mindset that this has been politicized to a much larger extent, and that the Supreme Court will not do that. I think actually, and I felt differently at one point, I think in this current climate, I think the Supreme Court will uphold the ban. And I'm curious to see if the president-elect does anything about it, because talk is cheap. And I'm personally not concerned. I personally, I don't care. Like, whatever happens, happens, right? Like, a true entrepreneur just rolls with the punches and finds their way. And oftentimes things find them. But I'm curious what the tone, what the vibe in the office is going to be today. Because these are the headquarters in New York. So I suspect that will be addressed pretty early on in the conversation this morning. That is my take. I intend to go live from there, as I suspect they want us to. So hopefully you'll join me for that. But beyond that, I mean, we're just hanging out, right? And then tomorrow we'll do some city stuff tonight probably. But then tomorrow we're going to do a little more. We'll do a city stream. I want to go to the site of the World's Fair, the 64-65 World's Fair. So I want to go explore that with you all. There's some Disney history there and some Americana to unpack. There is the Herald Square, the Macy's Herald Square Disney collab. We're going to go check that out. I'd like to go check out the Christmas tree as well. So we'll see what happens. I've been on Lemonade forever, and listen, Lemonade's not it. I've been on Lemonade forever. Lemonade's not it. Lemonade is, I believe they're owned by the same company, but it's not going to solve the problem. That's just, and I think, well, we'll see what they say today. If there's any chance of it surviving, it's going to come down to Trump coming in and doing whatever it is that he does. I don't see the Supreme Court suddenly reversing course. I think more folks in Washington than not want to see TikTok go away. Whether their interests are, aligned, or they're coming to the same conclusion for different reasons remains to be seen. I didn't think in the beginning it was even going to be a possibility, but I think in this current climate, anything's possible. We'll see. I'm personally not worried about it. Lemonade is not it. I've been on Lemonade for 2 years. Lemonade isn't it. Blue Sky isn't it. It takes a lot for these platforms to do their thing, and what we've seen time and time again is that migration to a new platform, there's usually that temporary bump, and then things kind of revert back. I don't think anything is going to come out to replace TikTok. I think there's enough in the marketplace. There's Snapchat, there's YouTube, there's Twitch, there's Instagram. I think we're fine without it. I personally, like I said, I'm not worried. I welcome the challenge. 253-263-1540, 253-263-1540. They still have not found the killer of this United Healthcare CEO. And we were live when the news broke. So what was that? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So 6 days. I'm of the mindset, if you haven't found the guy now, either you don't want to, or you're not going to, or maybe both. And what Kenzie and I were talking about on the podcast we recorded over the weekend, which came out Sunday morning, was the vitriol in the responses that I understand people are angry. I understand that people feel like they're not getting what they need, when it comes to healthcare. I get it. But the vitriol and the way that people are propping this guy up, it's crazy. I said to Nick, I go, we're like 2 years away, if that, from some guy running around the streets dressed up as Batman. That's where we are as a people. It's off the charts. Literally. That's where we're at. I see comments. People are saying the ban's never going to happen. Yeah, don't be so sure. What I don't think will happen, to go back to that, is I don't think that they're going to sell. I don't think that's going to happen at all because there's a secret sauce in that algorithm, and they do not want anybody having access to it. They don't want anybody having access to it. But anyway, so I didn't even dawn on me last week that I'd be in the city for all of this, and I'm like, wow, like I don't know. I understand the anger and everything, but you see, like they had like just a few days ago here in the city, they had a lookalike contest for the assassin, and I'm like, this is just not it, folks. I get the anger, but this is not going to affect change. And it just look, some of the stuff made me laugh. Like some of the snarky comments made me laugh. But then you take a step back and you go, this is nuts. This is bad. Like the fact that people are applauding this guy is only going to breed copycats. It's going to give people a false sense of like, heroism. Like, oh, if I step up and do this, I can have iconic status. I can be a cult hero. That just worries me. So I think we have to be really, really careful. I understand where people are coming from. I mean, it's just cancer alone. And believe me, I understand it. But it's a dangerous place to be when people are just posting the names of CEOs and like, I'll just leave this here for a minute. And now I'm reading all of these executives are like, all of these companies are reaching out for executive level security. And my first thought was, that's a heck of a time to start an executive level security business. Maybe that's the move, right? Crazy times, folks. Crazy times. I really don't know. I don't know what these couple days in the city are going to bring. Seems to me like, I mean, I got here yesterday. I didn't get out of the airport till it was dark. I see the sun is up now, but it seems to me like this place has changed over the last few years, post-pandemic. I don't remember the last time I've been here. I'm looking out the window. I don't remember the last time I've been here. I love the city, and I was talking to Nick last night, though. I was like, I love it, but I don't miss it. And just as we were driving in here and I see like the homeless population and people like sleeping under blankets and parking spots, and I was like, what, like, are we ever going to take care of our own? And I think Nick's response was, because I said this poor guy, and he said, well, there's options. I said, yeah, but like, does he know that? And even if he, you know what I mean? Like, does he know that? And even if he does, like, not everybody wants help. And I just look at these every time I come into the city and I look, because I have the good fortune of living in a bubble in Orlando. But every time I come in the city and I look, same thing in LA, and I look and I see people sleeping in the streets. And I'm like, this is wild. Like, it's 2024. I'm reading articles about Mr. Beast spending $14 million to build a city in the middle of a field for some dumb TV show, and we can't build housing for the homeless. And I understand it's a much more complicated issue, and I understand people are trying to do these things. And I know, like in California, they were trying to do the hotel thing or the motel thing. But when I read an article that a company, and I think the show is on Amazon, correct me if I'm wrong, but when I read an article that they spent $14 million to build a fake city, I just got to say, maybe you built it for the wrong reasons. There's enough entertainment out there. $14 million to build a reality show set so that a bunch of influencers can run around and feel important just seems like a waste of money and time. Why not take that money, if you're going to build a city with it, and house some people? And I understand it's complicated. Not everybody wants help, and then you open yourself up to exposure and all this. But when I look around and I see things like that, I'm just reminded, like when you balance that against the vitriol and how angry people are and how broken people are, and you start to take all those little pieces and put them together and you go, oh my gosh, like, how do we recover? Like, how do we recover? Not politically speaking, but like from a humanity perspective, like, how do we recover? Why is it okay that we look at people sleeping in the streets and just walk away? And I know the response is going to be, what do you want to do about it? Like, what do you want to do about it? And I remember one time in LA going up to a homeless gentleman and offering to get him food or a beer, and he didn't want any help. He didn't want any help. And we chatted for a while. And I remember homeless folks being outside of my business on the street, trying to help them and dealing with the struggles of who wanted help and who didn't want help and who who then took advantage. So I understand it's a very, very complex issue. But the problem that I have is when I look around and I see money being wasted on things like building a city or buying a banana duct taped to a canvas, and we have our own people suffering. I just go, how do we fix this? Can we fix this? Are we too far gone? I mean, and then you look at leadership and you look at the way leadership acts as a whole, not just in this country, but as a whole. And you go, these are our leaders? These people are clowns. They're all clowns. They're all clowns. Like, I'm looking at this Macron. I'm like, what a goofball. What a goofball. And then, it's the holidays. So it's the holiday season, right? You got the lights up and everyone's, in the holiday spirit, And I go, all right, great. 'Tis the season. But what happens in January, when the holiday spirit's gone? And then we just go, and even in this holiday spirit, look how angry people are. So I don't know. I don't know how we get back. I don't know how we get back to being civil people. The kind of people that just walk, and not that I want to be like friends with everybody, but like, walking down the street and just saying hello to somebody because you're acknowledging that you are existing in the same moment in time, and it's the polite thing to do. Hello, have a nice day. It amazes me how many times I say have a nice day to a service worker and they're shocked. They're shocked. So I just think if we could just get back to basic civil discourse, it's just pleasantries. It's not even discourse. It's just pleasantries. If we could just cool the temperatures a little bit, just a little bit, maybe that opens up the channels, for productive conversation, because everyone's so pushed into their corners. And I was talking to Josh Friday night, and he said some things that I didn't agree with, and I pushed back in a friendly manner. And there's things that he said that I didn't agree with. But I'd much rather have the conversation than say, no, you can't be saying those things here, and I won't have that here. No, if you say something I don't agree with, I will push back on you. I will challenge you, and that creates, in theory, a productive dialogue. But just to say simply, I don't want to hear that, and there's no no, I'm not about. I think as long as you're being constructive, I think it's fair game. I think it's okay to disagree with people. I don't think you have to constantly be in a persuasive mode with people. I think you can agree to disagree, but I don't know where we lost that sense, and I don't know how we get it back. So that was one of the things I really enjoyed about that conversation, because not only did we talk for 2 hours, but after we got that, we turned off the record, we probably talked for another 40 minutes, swapping stories that aren't for public consumption. And I found it very interesting that, on paper, he finds himself to be quite conservative. And you'll hear during the interview some of his takes speaking to his conservatism. Or is it conservatism? But it was interesting to me, off the air, some of the stuff we were talking about that is so diametrically opposed to conservatism. And him and I were talking about that. And he was telling me how some of his friends don't understand how he has some of these viewpoints. And I just find it really, really interesting that the expectation is, oh, well, it's almost like what we used to call voting down the line. So the expectation is, oh, well, if you're a conservative or you're a progressive, then all of your ideologies should be aligned. So it was really cool. It was a nice guy, super smart, really, really great insights. I mean, he's a Disney historian. Really, really great insights to Walt's legacy, to all the issues with Iger, and the future of the company and the state of the parks. Just really, really valuable insight. And a little snark, too. So I enjoy it, and that is up there right now for you to listen to. I'm here to take your calls, 253-263-1540. It's a short show today because I'm headed to TikTok headquarters, so you have the podcast that just came out this morning. You'll have this presentation. Hopefully, we'll get a couple calls. Say hello. I'm in New York, and then we'll pick it up. We'll do another show tomorrow morning, another show Tuesday morning, but we'll pick up our TikTok lives later when I get to Midtown. All right? 253-263-1540. If you're just tuning in, I told the story of running into Kelsey Grammer. He was doing a meet and greet in the Delta Lounge at the JFK Airport, very random, promoting Paramount Plus. So I posted a little snippet of that. I actually live streamed it too. I don't know what to do with this stuff. I didn't know that was happening. I don't know if there's any value in re-airing that. And they didn't even give the poor guy a mic, so it was kind of hard to hear. But just a random experience. So I told that story of how I didn't even want the guy's autograph, but I went to take it anyway. And he goes, "You don't want my autograph." I'm like, "I don't know how you know this, but you're not wrong." So anyway, it's on Nick's fridge. I'm staring at it right now. But that was a fun travel experience. 253-263-1540. I saw more news came out yesterday in these P. Diddy allegations, and now Jay-Z is being lumped into it. I didn't take the time to read too much into it, but it seems to me, based off of Jay-Z's statement, seems to me that he might be panicking because Jay-Z said he made some comments basically like, "That's not my character," and, basically deny. And then I saw a comment. It was, "This is the guy that dated Aaliyah when she was like 16 years old," or something like that. So another set of chips falling. I'm curious to see what happens here. I think that as we move into the new year, you're going to see a lot more of these things get revealed. I forget who I was talking to about this the other day as well. It might have been Josh off the air, but some of these things that are coming to light have been known truths for the longest time. And if you remember that Cat Williams interview, that Club Shay Shay Cat Williams interview, Cat Williams said all these things were going to come to light, and they are slowly coming to light. And I just remember Cat Williams being deemed a lunatic for the longest time. "Oh, don't listen to Cat. Cat's crazy. Cat's crazy." And then I didn't know this happened until this morning. I saw all the posts, and I'm just like, wow, Cat Williams, man. I mean, I hope that they got that guy on lock and key somewhere because he clearly knows things. He clearly knows things. The number is 253-263-1540. 253-263-1540. I don't know what's going to happen with that. But, like, now that Jay-Z's name is out there, who knows? I just think it's interesting that Cat Williams told everybody everything, and now it's actually coming out. So all of the time that Cat Williams has been deemed a lunatic because he spoke the truth, and now it's like, is anybody going back and looking at all the other things Cat Williams has said over the years? Because Cat has been speaking truth for forever, and everybody just wrote him off as like a crackhead. And according to him, he's never even done crack. So I don't know. And here come human beings. Good morning. The house is waking up here, folks. The house is waking up. 253-263-1540. I'm only going to give you about another 25 minutes here. So when this is done, go check out the interview with Josh, and then we'll be over at TikTok. There's rumbling. But by the way, I had to figure out how to use the coffee machine here this morning. You know how complicated this thing is? You have to, like, start it and then, like, wait for it to, like, make the coffee and then ask it to dispense the coffee. It was like a 3-step process. Like, he doesn't have a coffee pot. I'm going to get this guy a coffee pot. Also, I have to tell you this. So I sent Ellis the package, and I have tracking. So I see that the package is there. And if anybody's paying attention, you know that Ellis has been asking me about this package every single day. Hello, Nick. Oh, boy. That's the face of a miserable person. I mean, that's a wait. I have a list of complaints, but we'll get to those later. In the Yelp review, paperwork. So, anyway, Ellis calls me, he goes, where's my package? Where's my Dino Nugget? I go, Ellis, it says it's arriving today. Have you gone to the front door? No. Well, why don't you go check the front door? Maybe later. I said, Ellis, you've been begging me to tell you where this package is, and now it's possibly on your front doorstep, and you won't even go check the front doorstep? The phone number is 253. Someone will drop in the chat. 253-263-1540. I haven't spoken to him. He called me while I was traveling. So I guess he finally went to the front door. But this kid's been bothering me about this package. And then finally it's there and he doesn't go to the door. So I don't know what his deal is. I just sent him another package as well. 253-263-1540. Kenzie. I'm telling you, I don't know what's going to happen today. I don't know. I'm going to go past the crime scene. And then we're also going to, that was TikTok. Then we're going to go see where the United CEO was taken out. So the real crime scene being TikTok. By the way, I thought about going into TikTok and being like, what's up, CCP? But I figured that wouldn't go over too well. And then I thought about making a TikTok video at TikTok headquarters of trying to take all the things that aren't tied down because they're going to be gone soon. But I'm like, would they get mad if I just ran around TikTok, like making a TikTok about trying to take things that aren't tied down because they're going out of business? So we'll see. Just a thought. Maybe a light bulb. Well, you do know I like to collect light bulbs. I'll take something. I don't care. I'll take like an office chair, just roll it out into the. All right, let's go to 860. 860, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hi, my name is Julie.
Hi, Julie.
Hi. I was trying to reach you. My grandmother just passed on the 6th, and her favorite ride was the Small World, and I was wanting to let you know that because I really like your show, and I really appreciate it, and yeah.
I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
I will say, Small World is a fantastic
it's been
ride.
Very hard. That was her favorite ride.
Yeah. The message is lost on people. People just hear an earworm of a song and then they don't want anything to do with it. And it's amazing to me that message is lost because it's such a great message.
It is. It very much is. Yeah.
Are you doing okay?
Yeah. I'm hanging in there, one step at a time here.
Understood.
Her wake is on Wednesday and her funeral is on Thursday, so we're hanging in there.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
I hope that during your time of grief, you're able to find some light and hopefully think of the memories and things like Small World and celebrate the life and focus on the positive moments, focus on the positive memories.
Yeah, she was the first one that brought me to Disney. So it was very, very special place to go.
How old was she?
She was 91.
Wow. So she lived a life.
Yeah. And she was married 69 years.
Wow. What's the secret to 70 years of marriage?
Yeah.
I don't think I could do 7 years of marriage. I don't think I could do 10% of that.
You don't hear that very often.
70 years of marriage? Not this. No, it's like, what's the divorce rate? Over 50%? 55%? Something like that?
No.
Wow. Is your father still with you? Still with us?
My grandfather is, yes. He had a stroke in January. But he's hanging in there.
Good. I hope he's doing okay.
Yeah.
How old is he?
Yeah, he's 92. His favorite ride is Pirates.
Pirates. All right, so the family has good taste. That's what I'm picking up. And they took you to Disney World growing up? That was your park?
Yes, and they were the first ones to take me.
I love that. I too have many memories of my grandfather taking me to Disney, taking me to Universal. And he he couldn't turn his neck because he was a disabled vet. So we'd be driving from like to Orlando from West Palm Beach, and this man never looked left or right. Like he would lean back and kind of use his peripheral vision. The fact that I never got into a car accident with this man is astounding. Especially in Florida, the way people drive.
My friend works at the Grand.
Oh, all right. We were just over there the other day. We checking out the gingerbread house.
Yeah, he loves it.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I appreciate you calling, Julie. I hope you have a great holiday. And again, I'm sorry for your loss. And
thank you.
I hope that again
Thank you so much.
No, of course, and I hope you're just able to find some light and positivity this holiday season.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to seeing the more shows of you later. So, I'll be hanging there.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. I'll see you later. I'll be on later.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you. How sweet. I am sorry for your loss. And also, thank you for calling and sharing that because, that's a certain level of vulnerable. So I appreciate you sharing that moment with us. And I am sorry for your loss. I thought she said her mother. She said her grandmother. But can you imagine 70 years of marriage? No, Nick heard 70 years of marriage. He ran. He's gone. I just turned over to look at Nick, and he's gone. So I guess that's my whole entire conversation. All right, Nick, good chat. Thank you. Nick said he was going to get up early and do the show with me, but I knew that wasn't going to happen. So, no. You're out. You're gone. Anyway, I hear he's like singing in a stairwell or something. In a little bit, we're going to head to Midtown, and we're going to do our thing at TikTok. So we'll go live from TikTok. So what does that mean for you? That means it gives you a little bit of time to go listen to the podcast, whether you haven't listened to the one with Kenzie and I over the weekend or the interview that just came out with Josh this morning. There's plenty to unpack. I mean, plenty to unpack. And then we'll get back to it on the TikTok live. There is a Community Fest-esque thing starting today or tomorrow as well. So we're going to factor that in. And we will go to 734. You're on the air. Who's this?
Hello.
Hey now.
Hey, it's Kale.
Who's this? Kale?
Voice? Yeah.
Kale, what's going on, dude?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm all right, man. You calling to talk about the college program?
Yes, I am.
All right. Now, here's the thing, Kale. I know you want to talk about the college program, but I also know you're going back into the college program.
Oh, yeah.
So I have your back. So you got to be very careful about what you say. All right. I did an interview the other day with a cast member who's still working there. I changed their voice. It's all anonymous. So I really want to be careful with what you say. But are you looking forward to going back?
I am.
You are? And I think you're working custodial this time?
Yeah, custodial, yeah.
All right, Kale, I have one homework assignment for you. You have a pen? Write this down.
Yeah.
All right. I need you to get me one of those trash claws. Because I want to walk around and clean up the park while I'm streaming. So I don't know. You don't have to tell anyone on the live right now what park you're going to be in, but we'll talk. And I just need you to leave me one of those trash claws hiding in a shrub. And then I'll get it, and then I can clean the park, and then I'll put it back in the shrub, and then you can put it back so that way it never leaves the park. But I just need you to quietly acquire a trash claw for me so I can clean the park, because these parks are filthy.
They are filthy.
Well, listen, I just want to say this. Your opinions do not represent the company. All right, Gil. Gil, listen, it's been great to talk to you. I appreciate you, buddy. I'm going to keep moving here. He's a man of few words, but it's all quality, and that's what counts with Kale. One time I saw Kale on the side of the road driving in the Disney World, Nick, and I just kept going because he was on the wrong side of the road. I didn't want to get hit. He didn't have his thumb out, so he wasn't looking for a ride. And then I found him later that day, and I go, I saw you on the side of the road. He goes, well, why didn't you stop to pick me up? And I go, you didn't look like you needed a ride. You look lost. You're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, this is Sarah M. How are you?
I'm good, Sarah. How are you?
I'm doing good. Hey, first off, I feel like I have to redeem myself from the cold call thing on TikTok on Saturday. It's so funny because I say it as cold call because no one ever calls anymore. It's all text. So it's so funny that like when I call someone, they're like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting you to call." It's like, well, maybe you should try calling people more often.
It is so weird that we like text people before we call them now.
Exactly. Yeah. But no, I just want to say I appreciate you're very authentic and true to yourself, and I think a lot of stuff that we see online that's not very common anymore, unfortunately. So I just appreciate the way that you talk about different topics, especially like the option to be able just to call in and discuss stuff with you. I think that's awesome.
I appreciate that. Look, I never thought I'd be doing this as long as I'm doing it, and I just refuse to be anything other than myself. And whoever I lose as viewers in that process, it's just the cost of doing business. I don't know how to do it any other way. I speak the truth, and the chips fall where they fall. I can't sit here and do the whole social media saccharine-filled dog and pony show. That's just not my style.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that. I came across your lives first, so I found you on TikTok, and then the more I started listening, it was more coming back just to hear what you had to say, even if you were just walking around through the park. So, when you kind of transitioned to doing more of like podcasting and doing the radio talk, I absolutely love it. I think it's awesome.
Thank you. That means a lot. It was a long time coming. I've been thinking about it and working on it for months, and then I finally decided just to pull the trigger.
Yeah. Yeah, and I will say, so for me, I have a hard time like remembering facts. I'm not like history is really hard just for me to retain. So being able to hear not only like your personal stories, but what's going on in the world right now, or um, just different tidbits of information that you give to us as well. I think I truly appreciate that as well too.
Well, thank you for that. That means a lot. It really does. It's a weird thing that we're doing here. I had no expectation. For those who don't know, the whole thing that I started on TikTok was just I had a business that was slowly dying during the pandemic, and I had a bunch of technology and a bunch of time, so I started playing with all the tech, and we built a ride in the warehouse, and then I decided to pivot back to my original idea of streaming the parks. But after years of that and like hitting all these benchmarks and working with TikTok and all of this, you're like, well, what's next? You can't do the same thing forever. I mean, you look at anybody that's had longevity with what they are good at, and you have to exhibit growth. If you're not growing, if you're just plateaued, then there's no potential.
Exactly. And I think I appreciate that you show that to us as well throughout your process. You're not someone just to, put it out there for content as a lot of people do, or, to kind of milk that process. But to follow up with that, the question that I wanted to present to you today is, with you doing your transition, and you had your little bit of downtime, what do you think was the most fulfilling thing that you've, introspectively felt from the last few years? Because I appreciate, not only just all of the stuff that we had talked about, but I just, I like to understand on a deeper level, truly at the end of the day, what has been the most fulfilling part.
Preserving my sanity. No, I'm not joking.
Right? That's for every day.
No, I'm not. No, and I don't
Yeah,
mean that in
no.
respect to doing the lives. When I when I was losing the business and dealing with the lawsuit and trying to figure it all out and like literally was at rock bottom, and the fact that doing these lives didn't just build me a new career, a new business, whatever you want to call it, and I've said this before, but it saved me. Doing these lives was something that allowed me to focus, and it was cathartic, it was escapism, it was all these things at once. But in my early lives, there were many times I had to cut the phone and talk to an attorney. And I wasn't telling people what I was dealing with because I didn't want to, because I didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But the value of doing the lives in the park and building the channel was purely like it saved me. It saved me. And that's just really that's the honest truth, because if not for that, I don't know where I'd be today. And this guy sitting over to my left, as much as we joke, was a huge help, because what a lot of people don't realize, I didn't get any federal relief. Okay? I didn't get any emergency funds from the state. I didn't get anything. And I used an Amex card as my COVID relief. And having friends that are there to help you rebuild, so I'm very appreciative to have genuine friends. And now I look at it, I'm like, wow, like there's so many things that I can look back at and go, look how far, like even stupid stuff, not stupid, but like things that most people would laugh at, but like, I'm just like, my credit score, I'm like, the pandemic killed my credit score, And I'm like, so I just look at the lives, and I'm just most thankful for the fact that it allowed me the ability to get my legs back.
I think I appreciate that, and I resonate with that as well. When I found your live, so I had a dog he was an Australian Shepherd, and he had very bad epilepsy. So, I worked from home, which was awesome because I could keep an eye on him. But in between, working and watching him on a camera just to make sure he wasn't having seizures, like I would have your lives playing, or other content that I could find that you had as kind of like my background noise to say, but it really was able to keep my mind on things and not drive myself crazy. So I completely understand that. He passed away in May. So, just kind of still chugging along, but I found, what you have to say just about different topics. And I'm not really a big Disney person. I grew up with Star Wars, so I feel like I can relate just a little bit, but I feel like I learned more from you just on hearing your experiences and, seeing what you have to share with us.
Well, I really appreciate that. And hearing you say you're not a big Disney person is awesome. Just because it's nice to have that. And you know how much I love Star Wars. So just keep calling in, because we could do hours on Star Wars, okay? Because there's a lot of Star Wars to talk about, but not today, just because I don't want to be late.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know what kind of punishment TikTok hands out for tardiness. I can make some jokes, but they're not appropriate.
I will let you go. I definitely appreciate it. And now that I finally called in, I will definitely try to call in more.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, let's talk Star Wars. You kidding me? I go down some deep Star Wars rabbit holes when you're ready. Like, love Star Wars.
Oh, sure. Sure, definitely.
Well, thank you so much. Pleasure to finally talk to you. Thank you for the kind words and the support, and I hope you have a great holiday. And I'll see you on the live later today.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Hi. I love that. I love that. And when it comes to Star Wars, there's so much to talk about. So much to talk about. All right, 253-263-1540. Let me do the ads, and then we'll wrap this up, because I'm going to TikTok headquarters, which means we're doing a shorter show today, but you have my interview with Josh. You have 2 hours of that, okay? And we go really, really down into the nitty-gritty with Disney. So, ready to spice up your kitchen this holiday season? Pampered Chef has all the goodies, from spatulas and mandolins to amazing pots and pans and knives. Plus, don't miss out on small appliances like the deluxe air fryer and coffee maker to make your holiday cooking a breeze. Reach out to Colleen Herman at pamperedchef.com/PWS/Colleen Herman. pamperedchef.com/PWS/Colleen Herman. Are you on vacation and the unthinkable happens? Have you been injured in an accident? Don't wait to get the help you deserve when you need it the most at the law offices of Nicole M. Kennedy. They fight for your rights and work tirelessly to get you the compensation you deserve. They're here to guide you through the process every step of the way. Call now for a free consultation, 305-213-5438. 305-213-5438. The law offices of Nicole M. Kennedy. And last-minute shipping from the parks, go talk to my friends at the UPS store, 6526 Old Brick Road, located right behind the Magic Kingdom. They're going to help you out with that last-minute shipping. If you bought something from the park and you can't get it on the airplane, reach out to them. They will help you out. If you're local, they've got P.O. boxes and a notary, 6526 Old Brick Road, the UPS store. And as always, William Bailey is available for your travel needs, whether you want to do a Disney cruise, a Disney trip, or just a cruise. Reach out to William Bailey, William.bailey at academytravel.com, William.bailey at academytravel.com, or go fill out the form on my website. William is fantastic and always available to help. And sometimes we are so worried about this life in this moment, we forget to plan for the life of those we leave behind. With no estate plan, you could be leaving those you love the most with high taxes, probate fees, and an incomplete or divided estate, and legal fights and fees. A will or trust is not just for the Rockefellers anymore if you live in Florida. Contact RK Law today to make an appointment and safeguard the future of those you love. Send an email to Russell at rklawpro.com to schedule your appointment today. That's Russell at rklawpro.com. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you to all of our callers. Go check out my interview with Josh. Go check out the podcast with Kenzie. We're going to wrap this up. We're going to go straight into a team lift on TikTok, and then I'm going to post today's show, and then I'm headed to TikTok headquarters. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for kicking off this Monday morning right with me, and I appreciate you all calling in. And you know what? Even when you call in about something, like the loss of a loved one, it just kind of solidifies the value of this format, because the fact that somebody can call in, that dropping that comment in a chat is one thing, but being able to hear your voice, being able to speak to you and actually have that conversation together, it really does remind me the value of this format, and I love getting to speak to folks that have been watching for so long. So thank you for your support, and I'll see you real soon.